G'day, it's Robbie again. Well, we're into 2017. So I did my first video for the year, and it's a repair job on a bed spring. This is a spring that goes under a bed base. It's snapped off, and to try and join this is, well, it's going to be difficult. You can't weld it very well, so I'm going to try brazing it, hard bronze brazing it, and you can come along for the ride. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Just got to get it into position here. Obviously you get it up as close as possible, but not absolutely hard up against it, because you've got to have some room for the bronze to capillary into. That looks alright. So we'll try it. This is spring steel. If this doesn't hold, because there's a fair load on this stuff, well then what I'll do is I'll put a spacer block between the two broken ends, bronze along there. That will definitely hold it. It's going to be hidden under the bed so you can't see it. So yeah, we'll get into it. For this I'll be using my Finch LPG torch, or propane torch. This is one of the few guns that will actually hard bronze braze using LPG. Very few other torches, if any, actually work as well as this little torch does. And even though they're expensive to buy, they save a fortune in gas, and they basically work the same as matte gas. Whatever matte gas can do, well, these can do. Actually do it a bit better because they've got a stronger flame. But alright, so we'll get on with it. When you're hard bronze brazing, flux is important. You've got to have the right flux to do the job. I use Eziweld 303. I'll put the details in the video description. And of course, you want a good rod, smooth arc, BOC smooth arc, profile gas welding rods, manganese bronze. The best there are, from my experience. I've used a lot of rods. Use a plain rod, and that way you can control the flux, the amount of flux you put on. You can pre-flux it, then add no more flux. I don't like flux rods. I've got some, I never use them, and yeah, not all general purpose rods like this are the same. They don't all have the same consistency, same components in the actual rod. BOC the best. This is a simple brazing job, as simple as it gets. As I said, you put the ends to get close together. You don't butt them hard up. You've got to leave a little gap, but you don't have any more gap than necessary. You've got to get that bronze in between the two ends, so it's no good butting it hard up. However, if the gap's too big, the bronze won't be as strong. The more bronze you put in, if the filler gap is narrow, it'll be maximum strength. As it opens up, you'll get a weaker bond, because bronze isn't as structurally strong as steel. So keep your space as narrow as possible. Alright, we'll get into it. So we'll preheat it, get it red. We'll put some flux on, and then we'll add the rod to it. Once the metal gets to a white hot colour, then you just wipe the rod on. You don't heat the rod, alright? You just wipe it on. Now we let it cool down, we don't quench it. Normally if you're bronzing that black, which is the slag from the flux, normally you'd quench the metal. If it's mild steel, you wouldn't do it with high carbon steel because it would make it too brittle. But with mild steel you would quench it, and that would then, the thermal shock would then loosen a lot of that black crap off and it would fall away. Otherwise you have to wire buff it. With spring steel, and there's a very high carbon content in spring steel, you can't afford to quench it, so just let it cool down and then wire buff it and hopefully it does the job. Now if it breaks again, well, the option is you can put a spacer in there of some sort, and so you get maximum support on the verticals in this case, which, well, it's going to go horizontal in the bed, and the rest of the spring will take up for that area there that won't actually be springing. Anyway, we'll let it cool down and we'll test it for strength. As you can see, that's a good strong bond. So that'll do the job. You come in close and you have a look at it. Right, well here's the job. As you can see, it's turned out good and strong. That's worked out well. The spring still hasn't gone brittle because, as I said, you don't quench spring steel. So yeah, you can repair springs, high carbon steel, things like that, quite easily with a gas torch. I mean, you'd be battling to do that with electric welding. You might do it, but it'll be be pretty hit and miss, I think. Whereas with bronze, you've got a lot more control. As I said, provided you leave some capillary action space, you'll get a complete bond right through. A lot of people make a mistake by butting it up hard against the other piece of metal using clamps and that. No, you should just position it, leave that tiniest little gap, and then you'll get your maximum strength that way. Well, there you have it, another job done with the mighty bullfinch torch. These are excellent. As I said, runs on LPG, costs peanuts to run, and it allows you to do freehand brazing. You know, the other method of brazing is where you actually use a furnace and you set everything up in the furnace with the bronze and paste in position and heat everything up, melt everything into position, but of course the whole unit gets hot. You couldn't do something like a spring using that method. Freehand torch is the only way you can do this sort of job. Okay, well that's it for me, so I hope you've got a few tips out of that. Anything you want to know about freehand bronze brazing, put it in the comments. Okay, see ya.